It's the year 1824, and a boy named William Walker is born in Nashville, Tennessee. And he'll go on to conquer, albeit briefly, Nicaragua with a private army. But back to his backstory. William went on to graduate with honors from the University of Nashville at the age of 14. Meanwhile, I'm 17 and I can barely get a passing grade in pre-calc. So William became a doctor for a while in Philadelphia, but then decided he wanted more student loans, so he moved to New Orleans to study law. But then changed career paths again when he became a journalist and moved to San Francisco. In San Francisco, he began to promote the idea of freebooting. No, not that kind. He wanted to conquer Central America and turn those areas into new slave states. Walker actually got national attention after getting into a duel with a fellow journalist, William Graham, where Walker got shot 2 times and his opponent was unscathed. That didn't stop old Walker from traveling to Mexico in 1853 and proposing to the Mexican government to allow him to create a colony there as a fortress against Indian attacks on the US border. The Mexicans were like, fuck that, and Walker returned to San Francisco, still determined to get his colony. He started by gathering a cadre of slavery supporters and promised somehow that he'd create a new state out of the Mexican territories of Baja California and Sonora. So on October 15th, Walker set out with 45 men to go against the entire Mexican army. They succeeded at first and captured the city of La Paz in sparsely populated Baja California, where Walker establishes the Republic of Lower California. He puts the nation under the laws of Louisiana, which of course makes slavery legal. Now this new nation doesn't last very long, because eventually the Mexican army showed up and, well, whooped his ass. After fleeing back to California, Walker is put on trial, but is quickly acquitted because the judge was like, well, manifest destiny. This allowed Walker to set his eyes on his next target, Nicaragua. Nicaragua was in the midst of a civil war between the Legitimist Party and the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party asked Walker for assistance because what could possibly go wrong? To get around the US neutrality laws, the Democratic president gave Walker a grant to settle Nicaragua with 300 colonists. He arrives with about 60 men, and about 110 locals join his cadre. Walker first attacks the Legitimists in the town of Rivas, but is driven off. Though Walker tried again and ended up defeating the Legitimists and took their capital of Granada. Walker was promoted to commander of the army and was able to put a guy named Patricio Rivas to the presidency as his puppet. 2 American businessmen, C.K. Garrison and Charles Morgan, provided support to Walker, in turn for Walker seizing all of Cornelius Vanderbilt's assets in the country. Now, if you know anything about Mr. Vanderbilt, you know that he's the type of person you don't piss off. So Vanderbilt started sending agents to Costa Rica with the goal of overthrowing Walker's regime. Costa Rica began to mobilize their army, and in response, Walker invaded as a preemptive strike. Walker's advanced force of 240 men were defeated at Santa Rosa. It pretty much went downhill from there for him, as he suffered defeat after defeat. Eventually, after his defeat at the Second Battle of Rivas, he contaminated the city's wells with corpses and started a cholera outbreak, which killed over 10,000 people. Meanwhile, Honduras and El Salvador joined the fray and invaded Nicaragua too. Walker holed up in the city of Granada and held a fraudulent election where he won the presidency. His first act was to legalize slavery and declare English as the official language. But this didn't change the fact that the city was surrounded by about 4,000 allied Central American troops. So Walker, of course, burned down the city and then fled to Lake Nicaragua, where he surrendered to the US Navy on May 1st, 1857. After going back to New York, he tried to set off on another expedition, but the Navy actually arrested him before he could do anything.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
But then again, he set off on another expedition in 1860 to Honduras. This time, though, he got bamboozled when British settlers on the Bay Islands offered to help him establish an independent English-speaking republic in the area. Just, he needed to travel with them to Trujillo first. Immediately after arriving, he gets arrested by the Royal Navy. Walker was then turned into Honduran authorities who immediately sentenced him to death. Moral of the story? Don't invade Central American countries with private armies. Thanks to patrons Trotsky's Daddy, Skylar Weston, Andy Luke, Amit F.A. Simchek, AP Terminator, and Helipilot.